You are probably familiar with heirloom tomatoes, but there are also heirloom peppers. And today I want to show you which heirloom peppers I recommend growing in central Pennsylvania for the best yields and the best flavor. Now, when it comes to heirlooms, there are all types of plants, vegetables, herbs, and flowers that are heirlooms. But today we're going to talk specifically about peppers, and more specifically ones that are going to thrive in the cooler, shorter growing season that we have in central Pennsylvania. An heirloom is a seed or plants that has been saved for multiple generations, usually at least 50 years, most of the time much longer. They are open pollinated, non-hybrid, non-GMO, and they are usually saved for some pretty cool reasons. Like, there's a reason somebody said, I'm gonna save this seed and pass it down for generations. And often it has to do with the flavor, colors, and unique or diverse qualities, how well it grows in a specific climate and area, and they often have pretty neat history, a story behind the seed. So that is what an heirloom is. And we grow heirloom peppers here at the Heirloom Farmer, and we have pepper seedlings available. So all of the varieties that I'm going to talk to you about today are available for you to purchase here at our greenhouse and try growing in your garden this season. So if you like one of the varieties or two or three of the varieties I talk about today, I hope that you will come pick them up and give them a try in your garden, and then let me know how they do for you. But again, I've really chosen these because they have excellent flavor and they grow really well in our area. If you have struggled to grow peppers, especially bell peppers, and you've not really gotten much of a yield, or maybe you get a few peppers and then the plant struggles, or you don't get peppers until September and then we get a frost, don't despair. You may just need to grow a different variety of pepper that performs better here. And again, these I have tested in my garden, and I get prolific pepper harvests from all of these. Now, you do still need to have healthy soil with lots of organic compost, and use good growing practices, but these varieties will set you up for success. Let's start with the sweet peppers. Now, the first thing I want to tell you when it comes to sweet peppers is actually when to harvest them, and that you really have two options for harvesting sweet peppers. So a pepper will grow green. There's a few rare exceptions, but they grow green, and then as they mature, they turn their final color. But if you prefer the crunch and sort of that crisper, crunchy pepper with a little bit more of a bite, like a green bell pepper, what you can do is harvest any of these peppers when they've grown to full size, but they're still green, and you're gonna get that green bite pepper. So if you like that, if that's your preference, know that you can harvest these at that point. If you prefer the sweeter, slightly softer, milder pepper flavor, wait until it's fully matured to its final color, and that will give you that sweeter, milder, fuller flavor. All right, so lipstick peppers, these are by far the most prolific sweet pepper I have grown in my garden. They are just loaded with peppers. Again, they are a sweet pepper. They're a longer pimento type pepper, very, very bright red, and they are kind of comparable to a red bell pepper in flavor, but they're slightly different shape. And again, they are really prolific. They're great for fresh eating or cooking. They're really good if you roast them on the grill or in your oven, to kind of give them a little bit of a roasted flavor. They also produce earlier than most other peppers I grow. So lipstick peppers, bright red like the name implies, really, really good pepper. The sheep nose pimento, they're also a red pepper. They have a more of a tomato shaped, and they have a really thick, juicy flesh. And because of how they sit a little bit squatter and flatter, they're really great for making stuffed peppers. Again, you can harvest them green or allow them to mature to fully red, for that sweeter, fuller flavor. This pepper actually originates in Ohio in the 1940s, and again, it grows well in our climate. Mini bell peppers, think bell pepper, but mini. They are usually about 1 to 2 inch mini bell peppers. So these are really cool for kids to go out and harvest and snack on. They're great for just slicing one up into a salad. They're a mix of colors. Now each plant will have just one color, but the plants we offer are mixed. So it's kind of fun to see what you end up with. It might be yellow, it might be red, it might even be a chocolate color, which is really fun to see what you end up with. These are a great option if you want to grow in containers. I do recommend at least a 3-gallon pot, but I have grown these in containers on my deck very successfully. And then King of the North bell pepper. If you are looking for that classic bell pepper, this is the one for you. And again, if you've struggled to grow bell peppers in the past, give this one a try. I've had the most success with this bell pepper in my garden, because it's early. It has a shorter maturity, shorter days to maturity, and it can mature and produce in our climate mid-season, and you'll get, continue to get lots of peppers from it all season. So give King of the North a try before you give up on growing bell peppers in your garden. Really, really good, traditional bell pepper. All right, we're gonna move on to the hot peppers. We have some really excellent options, 3 that I've kind of settled on as my favorite for a variety of reasons. But fish pepper, this is a really unique plant. It has variegated leaves, and you can see it's starting to show some variegation here. So white and green leaves, and it becomes a very beautiful ornamental plant. So I always grow a few just for that beautiful variegation. The peppers are also striped green and white, so very, very beautiful. Now they are very hot. They are the hottest pepper that we grow. I know my dad likes to slice up a few and add to his salsa. They are gorgeous pickled, but a little too hot for me to eat pickled. But if you like hot pickled peppers, give this one a try. They're beautiful and really good flavor, but again, they are hot. Now they have a pretty unique history traced back to West Chester, Pennsylvania in 1940. There was a gentleman there who had arthritis in his hands, and he actually traded these pepper seeds to a beekeeper, and the trade was that the beekeeper would allow him to use the bees for arthritis treatment, which meant he would get stung by bees because he felt and believed that it healed the arthritis in his hands, and he traded him these specific pepper seeds for that treatment. So kind of a really crazy, unique history behind these seeds. There's actually a history that goes back much further than that. So if you're a plant nerd and you're looking for some good reading, there's a lot of history behind these fish peppers. That's just the Pennsylvania local history that I thought was pretty neat. But again, beautiful plants, beautiful peppers. Martin's carrot pepper also has history in Pennsylvania. It's known as a Pennsylvania Dutch pepper and was acquired from the Martin family in Lancaster County in 1971. That's where Seed Savers Exchange acquired it, but it was grown many, many years before that. It is a smoky hot, sort of a red-orange pepper. It lives up to its name, carrot pepper. So it's got that red-orange color, a little bit of a carrot shape to it. So it's really good for fresh eating, pickling, salsa, and hot sauces. Excuse me. So it is definitely a hot pepper, but it's a little more mild than the fish pepper. If you really want to get into the heat levels, you can Google these and look up the Scoville units. But this one's going to be a little bit more mild. And then we have early jalapenos. These are like your traditional jalapeno. They're a medium hot pepper, but they are earlier maturing than most jalapenos, and they're better adapted to our climate. So that's why I recommend growing this early variety so that you get a lot of peppers off your plant all season long. But they're definitely that classic jalapeno flavor and heat. And I would say they're actually pretty consistent when it comes to heat. That was the other thing that we want to make sure, with the selection of our peppers, is we don't want some that are going to throw weird hot, not hot, hot, not hot peppers. These all seem to perform pretty consistently for providing you with that evenly hot pepper experience. So these are also a little bit shorter than most pepper plants. Kind of that really bushy and earlier to mature plant. So I highly recommend giving these a try for your hot peppers, salsas, pickling, all the things this season. The last thing I will add with peppers is be prepared to stake or trellis your pepper plants. Now these are bushier, and if you're growing in full sun, they're gonna stand up well on their own, but as they start to get loaded with fruit, and because they're so prolific, it does help to stake them up either with a single stake and some twine or a tomato cage. I actually never use tomato cages for tomatoes, but I have, because they fall over and tomatoes are just too big for them. But I have found tomato cages work well for peppers. So you can use them to support your peppers so they don't fall over when they're fully loaded with peppers this growing season. Another thing to maximize your pepper harvest is to actually harvest your peppers. So as with most plants, as you harvest, that signals to the plant, oh, hey, I need to bloom again and produce more fruit, more peppers, to produce more seed, to keep living. That's what plants are designed to do. So make sure that as your peppers are maturing, you are going out and you're harvesting them, and that will signal to the pepper plant to produce more. Last thing I will say is our pepper plants are available now. And as you can see, they're a great size to be planted out. But peppers like warm air and warm soil. So depending on exactly where you're located, just make sure to check your forecast. Wait until after all danger of frost is past, the soil is warmed up a little bit, or be prepared to protect your peppers with some type of row cover to ensure that they thrive and really get growing this spring. But they are available now at our greenhouse for you. So I hope that you enjoy these pepper varieties and that you experience success with your peppers this garden season. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also visit our website, theheirloomfarmer.com. Make sure you're on our email list. I share lots more information there. And I also share opportunities for you to come visit our greenhouse and my very own garden in person. So go to theheirloomfarmer.com to learn more and stop by for your heirloom pepper plants.